Welcome, everybody. It is great to be back. So fun to see some of you guys face to face this last week. That was just special. It's been so too long. And so today, where we just hit this, for those of you that weren't on the recording part of this, we just went over the scaling and the level set for everybody. But we're going to be talking about the next addition to your training, I guess I would say, the next piece of the puzzle, which is going to be on lead management. Now, before you click off the call and you're like, I'm over this sounds terrible. Here's why this is important, okay? You've stacked up your 6 go-to-market origination verticals. And the harder you hit those, the more leads are going to come at you. The more business is going to come your way. And we have to have a way to manage that systematically, not organically. Okay. I know for a fact that many of you, as badass as you are as an originator, if I asked you, can you show me, like, let's say I'm a new junior loan officer on your team, brand new junior loan officer on our team. What is the lead process you have for every single type of lead that comes into your business? So a realtor lead, a realtor calls with a lead. What's your process to manage that lead? Now, I know many of you have a very, very organic plan for that lead, right? I know you do. You call it a million times. It's a warm lead. You're texting them immediately. You get them on the phone, and then you're converting them into an app right away. So it's not much of a plan you need to have around that. But there are so many other lead opportunities we're going to start exploring here that you need to have an understanding of what you do. So your homework this week is going to be to define your lead strategy based on your lead types. Okay, it's define your lead strategy based on your lead type. Meaning, what do you do when this happens? Okay, and you need to have a systematic plan for this. You cannot wing this. New people that don't do 100 million wing this. $100 million people do not wing this. They're like, this is what I do every time when I have a new team. Because by the way, we can't talk about scaling your team and bringing in other people unless you have a plan of how you run your business. Does this make sense from up here? If you have this already, then you're going to have the easiest week of your life besides just actually executing on the prospecting stuff and the sales and marketing, because you're just be like, here you go, Alec, this is what I do, which is going to be fine. You're going to be ahead, good. But I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. Am I right that this is pretty organic with a lot of you? Like, you just do what you do. You have an Excel spreadsheet, right? Pretty much like, okay, no judgment. And I'm not going to push you into CRM. You can use CRM or not CRM, but you have to have a plan. So let's go through. I have down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lead types. You might have more. I'm going to give you examples, but you need to come up with your plan on how you, so it's called dispositioning or converting a lead, right? That's the language. So it's how you take a lead from never making contact to, is this person viable or not? And where do I put them for the future? Okay. That's what we're going to be going through today. So number 1, the easiest one is a realtor calls you with a lead. You probably don't need to make this one up. You probably have the platform, because in a realtor calls you with a lead, I guarantee your plan looks something like this. You call them within 30 seconds or you text them for an appointment, right? I'm just going to kind of go through what you organically do. But again, you want to codify this. You want to put it down somewhere where it's like, this is how we handle this. If you're training a new loan officer and they go, what do I do when a realtor calls me the lead? You go, here, take this. And this is exactly what you do. Okay. You call and text the lead instantly. You set an appointment for an application. You go through a hopes and dreams call, whatever you call it, with that initial intake application, right? And you run credit and you pre-qualify the customer. Simple. If they're not ready to buy, you put them in the nurture category, and then you're done with that lead. Okay, so warm leads from realtors tend to have a very small incubation window. They're ready to go. You're going right to application. And then please understand this in a conceptual space. We are talking about leads, not applications. Applications, the people that apply with you in pre-quals are over here. We're talking about leads. Someone on the internet DMs you and says, I'm interested in some of your campaign stuff, right? That's the lead we're talking about. They're not an application. We want to get them there. So let's talk about, how many of you guys are in DPLP? DPLP? Great. Let's talk about DPLP as a lead strategy. Okay, so you need to have a realtor one defined. And now we're going to DPLP. Does anybody want to share your organic process for a DPLP lead? Obviously, you have to answer. I'm assuming you answer the phone and you're talking to them. What's your process? Does anyone want to come off and share what their process is?
Well, I ask them immediately if they have a job or
Yes.
any income or any assets, and 9 out of 10 times the answer is no, so I move on.
Okay.
But that one where they actually say, yes, I have a job and I do have some assets, I try to push them immediately to the application there. And if they push back, then I send them an application through the CRM, and then I book a follow-up call after that. And I just follow up with them.
So let me piggyback off what Brett's talking about. So obviously we're not going to talk about your call with them. I know what you're doing on the call with them, right? You're qualifying the customer. So we don't need to talk about that. It's what you do after the qualification. So in Brett's case, you have qualified and doesn't qualify. So now you're starting to see, okay, I have 2 leads now. I need 2 different separate action items if they don't qualify and if they do. So let's just talk about don't qualify for a second. I'm going to walk you through this because I want you to build this for each of the lead types. On do not qualify, what do you do next? And I'm telling you, you have 2 choices. You flush it down the toilet because it was worthless. So you're never going to follow up with it. It's fully deleted. Or you put them in some kind of credit repair process, right? Or a budget process or some kind of down payment, right? Like that's the second one. So again, with a lead, this is what you would have written out. You would say, if they don't qualify, I either trash them in the CRM, so they're gone, or I put them in the nurture category or in the credit repair category with a follow-up strategy. And then that follow-up strategy is what? It is, I email them every 30 days to see if they're actually doing anything. And if they're not, then I dump them in the trash. I'm not saying that should be your plan. I'm saying this is what you need to come up with this week. Jamie, don't worry about it. Good to see you. This is what you need to come up with this week. So we have DPLP lead. You have a qualification call. You got does not qualify, trash, or you put them in an every 30-day follow-up credit repair or whatever they need. Now let's Now let's go back up. Now you have the qualified lead. They qualify. Where does it go from there? I'm going to give you thoughts, but I want you to come up with this. But obviously it needs to go towards pre-qualification, like full income and asset pre-qualification. That should be the path. Give me all your stuff. And it should go to Mellow Home and go shopping. Right? Both those things need to happen on that lead. So DPLP lead comes in and they're qualified. Then you go, we need to get you fully qualified. You need to be able to pull the trigger at any moment. You need to send me all your documents. By the way, this isolates you from them rate shopping you. If they send all their stuff, they're less likely to do that again somewhere else. It's a hassle. It's a pain in the ass. So you want to push them through that. And so the question is going to become, hey, I'm qualified. I'm buying whenever I want to buy. How often are you following up to get them from qualified to fully pre-qualified? Is it weekly? What is it? You have to come up with this. You have to have your plan where this is what you execute against. This cannot, I know that I hope some of you are getting a little bit overwhelmed by this, but hopefully in a good way, because once you codify how it all works, we can talk about scaling, delegation, teamwork, what resources in the system can we use to do it on our behalf so we don't have to. But if you don't have a plan of when you follow up with somebody who's qualified, because how many of you gotten a DPLP lead that says they're buying in 4 months or 6 months, or they don't know when they want to buy? Yeah, right, Nick? They don't know when they want to buy. Okay. So your plan with that person, you have to have a system for that person. You can't just wing it on an Excel doc. And so Trevor, yeah, I mean, many of you have these systems, and so your homework will be easier this week. But for those of you that are writing notes furiously, I love it. So what is your next step? Well, I want to get them fully qualified. That means I need to start asking for documents. That means I need to put them on a weekly drip that says something like, you're way likelier to understand what you can buy once I get you fully underwritten. There's no point in kind of moving forward unless you're fully underwritten. So send me all your docs, complete the application, do the credit report, et cetera, especially if they didn't do that part. And then the second piece is get them to Mellow Home, get them with an agent, and get them shopping, and get them locked in with a grand slam. They can't go anywhere else. They're not going to go anywhere else. They send you their documents and they're working with a realtor with $3,800 on the line. They're not going anywhere else. Done. You've effectively converted that lead at the highest level. So you need to have a plan for DPLP leads, and the goal is to get them tied to a Mellow agent and fully pre-underwritten. So there's your goal. I don't care how often you think you should follow up to get to that goal, but clearly if they're in the qualified bucket, your goal is to take them fully underwritten and tied to a Mellow agent. And so how often are you going to follow up with them to do that? Okay. Now let's talk about another lead type that you need to, so you have realtor lead, DPLP lead. We're going to go into cold lead. Now, cold lead are leads like lead pool leads. Cold leads are leads you might purchase to augment your team at some point. You need to have a plan for cold leads. Even if you don't work cold leads yourself today, you're like, I don't buy leads, I don't go into lead pool, I don't care. You're going to come up with your workflow for this. You're going to have it in your back pocket. You're going to be ready for it, because you never know when a moment in time comes and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take on 50 cold leads from lead pool. Okay, great. So for cold lead, what's the goal? Fully underwritten and pre-qualified and attached to a mellow agent if you can, right? That's the goal. So your question has to be, how do I get them from here to here? Now, here's where you need to build this lead flow system out. This one's going to be the most complex of this cold. Obviously, you're going to call, text them right away. So I know your first step. You get a lead, you call, text the lead. Got it. If they answer, you go into a qualification questions, and then you go into, I need to get you fully approved and mellow agent, or I put you in the trash, right? So we kind of have that already built from the previous cycles. But here's where we drop the ball. When they don't answer the phone, what do you do next? And this is where you build out your lead funnel, your lead system. So you call and text, and they do nothing. What do you do? Each of you have to come up with this personally, but you're going to follow up. The question is when and what does it look like? So I'm going to give you an example. We're going to back up a step. I'm going to give you an example and say, Jamie is my cold lead. I get Jamie from lead pool, or I get Jamie, I buy leads because whatever I do, and I get Jamie. My first thing is to video text Jamie. Okay, I'm giving you examples. Jamie, Alec, Hanson, Loan Depot, got your information from Lending Tree, or got your information here at Loan Depot. Looks like you pushed some buttons on the internet. Hey, I'm just checking in to see if you got everything you needed about your mortgage inquiry. And if you didn't, I'd love to help you. Okay, that's my text. My video text goes out. I have that video pre-recorded. I just cut and paste it, drop it in, it's done. Now, Jamie doesn't text me back. So what do I do? In 2 days or 3, or let's just say 2 for me, I'm going to call Jamie. Okay, now my number hit her from a text. Now I'm going to call Jamie, and I got my script ready if she doesn't answer the phone, or if she does. You tracking? So if she doesn't answer the phone, which is very normal, I have my voicemail ready. Jamie, Alec, Hanson, Loan Depot, I sent you that video text 2 days ago. Got your information from XYZ. Don't know if you got everything you needed, but I am a hardworking, relentless mortgage professional. And until you tell me that you got everything you needed, I'm going to keep following up with you if that's okay with you. Okay, that's the voicemail. It's scripted. I know what I'm going to say every time. It's written down. I just call Jamie. I deliver it. Now, Jamie in day 2 doesn't answer the phone, doesn't respond to my voicemail. What do I do next? Well, for me personally, in about 2 to 3 days, I would send her an email. Right? I have the lead form. That email would be, Jamie, Alec, Hanson, I gave you the text and the call. I'm trying you on email. Smoke signals are next. I am not going to stop following up with you until you tell me that you have everything you need and I'm bothering you. And then my intent is never to bother you, but I really am serious. I'd love to help you if you need it. Call, text, smoke signal. I'm here for you, Alec. You're your favorite loan consultant that you never called. And that would be my email. Again, I'm being serious though about the humor part. Like I'm coming at Jamie. This is my personality. It's not going to be like, I'm just following up on your mortgage inquiry. No, it's going to be something that puts my personality in. Okay. I get no response on my email. I have done 3 responses in approximately 7 to 10 days, depending on how long I wanted to space those out from my personhood. And now I'm going to do my 4th and final takeaway close, which would be another text. And this one would be text only, no video, because it would go right below my video on my face. And I would say, Jamie, I think I get the hint. I will totally back off. Just making sure you got everything you needed. Let me know. Okay. So I had 4 intentional follow-ups on a cold lead. If I had a brand new loan officer, junior loan officer sit me and they go, what do I do with cold leads? I go, this is what you do. I hand them the list. I go, this, and then you go into the CRM and you say in the trash. Actually, I wouldn't do that. I got a little ahead of myself. Here's one of the things I want you to work into your mind here on your lead flow. Every time you go to put them in the trash, I want you to do 2 things. Do they really go in the trash, or they go on the back burner? See, this cold lead, I would not put in the trash. They never responded to me. I would put them in the back burner. In the CRM, I would have it labeled back burner. and I would put them on my monthly intentional contact or my monthly email message. I'm going to talk about monthly email message later. I would put not intentional contact. I wouldn't mail them stuff because we didn't talk, but I would send them my email, my e-blast every month. You're in my world now, baby. I'm not letting you go. But we don't do this well. And so if I'm honest with ourselves, right, if I gave each of you 25 cold leads, you probably don't have a plan. You'd probably call them or text them once or twice, but it wouldn't be systematic. It wouldn't be, hey, day 3, I got to call back that person. It was day 3, I got to do my work. It would just be what it is till they fall off. But in this strategy, what I'm sharing with you, where I want your head at is, it's a program, it's a plan, it's written down on paper, it's followed, it's doctrine, and then you put them back into your monthly email, and now they're in your world. Fast forward this, 4 or 6 months, you're going to be surprised what cold leads come out of that back burner world. I know some loan officers that are so good at this, and you can put this in your own play, but on the back burner leads, like the cold leads that never make contact, they intentionally send another text in 3 months and 6 months. They back burn it for 3 months, 90 days. They just put it over there. And then when 90 days come up, they have a whole bunch of people that they're going to hit, right? They have a whole bunch they've been accumulating. And then they just go, hey, it's been 3 months. Didn't know if you got everything you needed. I'm reaching back out. It's smart. By the way, you got a bucket of these leads. Just it takes nothing to send them that message through CRM. It can be automated. But this is what strategy and intentional, pardon me, lead management looks like. All right, next bucket. Warm referral, friends and family, or internet lead from your social media activities. Okay, this is the next. So again, remember, you need a plan for each of these buckets: realtor, DPLP, cold lead. Now this is the warm lead / friends and family lead / lead from, I saw your campaign, Nathan, I'm in, tell me more. So I'll give you the punchline. The end looks like fully pre-qualified and attached to a Mellow Home agent, right? We know the end. So you need to build out the beginning at the middle. They contact you, they drop you a DM. How do you take them from here to fully pre-qualified and attached to a Mellow agent with the Grand Slam deal? So you tell me, right? Obviously you're gonna make contact, you're gonna have a qualifying call, and then and then how often do you make more contact with them to get them to fully pre-qualified? What's your follow-up program? When they tell you things like, Nathan, Trevor, I'm just not ready. You need to have a systematic plan that says, when do I hit them up next? I'm going to give you examples. Let's say, hey, I totally get it. Would it be okay if I contacted you once a month or once a week? What's your frequency preference? So I don't feel like I'm bugging you, but I'm staying in touch with you and maybe sharing with you market trends and information. Do you have is one of those cadences better? And then boom, they're in your monthly e-blast, or they're in your weekly follow-up on the benefits of getting pre-qualified, pre-approved, market updates, etc. You pick, but you need to have a plan for these warm leads. Okay. Head shake, head yes, got it. Okay. Last bucket, and there might be some personal buckets, we'll get into those. Trigger leads. Okay, you guys have a ton of trigger leads. Okay, I know it because I'm managing my division. I know you have them. I see the reports. I know what's going on. We're not managing them, are we? So I think you all know the trigger leads, but let me go over them again. If you don't know how to, first of all, you're getting emailed these leads, correct? You see them in your email. Okay, make sure I'm not drunk. You see them come through. Okay, so what do you do for each type? Again, it should look something like this. Call or text instantly, as fast as humanly possible, unless I'm in a meeting. Get together on a call with them to qualify them, to find out what's going on. And then take the lead over from wherever it's triggered out to, right? Convert it to your side, and then get them into a refi or into a purchase, right? With a Mellow agent. That's kind of the plan. But I'm telling you, you have leads coming through your fingers right now, and we're just not executing. Please also come up with your scripts for what you're going to say. So let's say you have an in the market lead or a trigger lead on credit. What's your text say? It should say the same thing to every customer you send to, right? You shouldn't have them be thinking about it. You should pull the lead up, open your phone, copy and paste the text. If you don't know this, I'll give you a little life hack in your notes app. Notes should be all your templates for texting, right? Because then you just copy it, open up text, paste. There's no reason to mess around with this. You get an in the market lead, you go, oh shit, open this up, go to my in the market lead note, copy the text, open up that customer, paste it, done, next lead. But here's the deal. Let's say you have a trigger lead. You text them. They don't respond. What do you do? And again, I want you to build the plan out. Okay, that's your homework this week. I send a text on day one on a trigger lead. If they don't respond because it's a trigger lead, it's a credit pull, I'm calling them day two. Or I'm calling them at the end of the day. I do a text, no response, I call them at 5. I don't care what it is for you, but build out a system, a plan for how you handle these. A demand trigger, like holy shit, we're being paid off. What are you doing? Please hear me on this. Okay, I've been using this conversation in all my branches on my world tour. Okay, you're gonna hear this from me a lot going forward in this program. Winners win. Okay, winners win. And what that means specifically in this situation of a credit or a demand trigger, a winner is somebody who goes through the embarrassment of this customer cheating on me, through the potential, self-doubt of like, I never called them, I never followed up, I'm a shitty loan officer. Winners just go, I don't give a fuck. They pull the Band-Aid off and they call them. That's what winners do. So I'm telling you right now, if you get a trigger lead and you're like, oh, I screwed up, it's too embarrassing to call them. They're going with somebody else, obviously. No, don't make assumptions. Call them, text them, get them in, execute on your program for these leads, okay? I'm gonna pause and back up a little bit and just make sure I've been clear on what I'm expecting you to do this week and why. Okay, I'm gonna reiterate myself a little bit. The best producers in the country operate off of a plan. They don't operate off an Excel spreadsheet or I do it when I remember, or I have a scratch pad. They have a fully executable plan that can be communicated easily to anybody around them. And many great loan officers, many of you on the call that are great loan officers, just haven't systematized your plan. You're doing it organically because you're a professional and you've done it before. And so the challenge and the opportunity this week is for you to put it to paper and say, hey, here's what happens. By the way, I don't know any $100 million producer that's not a team. I don't know a single $100 million producer who doesn't have a team backing them up. It's so hard to do. I'm sure someone in the world's done it with super jumbo loans, so they didn't have to do that many. But your team is going to be part of your follow-up process. Many of you are probably connecting the dots on that right now. Your team is going to be starting to follow up on some of these leads for you. Your team, some junior LOs in your future are going to be calling and following up on your leads, and you're going to have to build your plan of how you do it and give it to them. And by the way, your plan will change as you refine it and you find out things are working easier and better. They will change, but every one of you needs to have a personalized, this is what I do plan for each of these lead buckets and how you attack these things and convert them. Questions?
What format do you want this to be in, the homework?
Shooter's choice, Brett. You guys can send me an email with bullets and say, if then this, then if then this, and if then this. Fine with that. But I hope you're already seeing what the next step is. The next step is how do you actually make sure you do it? And this is where CRM can be an assistant and a tool for this. Because let's say I'm Jessica and I decide that with every trigger lead, I'm going to text immediately when I get the trigger lead. If I don't get a response, I'm going to call by the end of the day. Well, let's just make it the next day. I'm going to call the next day. If I don't get a response, I'm going to email the next day. So I've got 3 days of text, call, email, right? That's what Jessica decides she's going to do on every trigger lead. So she gets the email, a trigger event happened. So she jumps into action. She immediately sends them a text. What is going to tell her or remind her to call this person tomorrow? She's busy. She's got a lot going on. What system is going to pop up and say, Jessica, call this customer? Well, that's what CRM does when you create tasks and events. You can use Outlook. You can set up a calendared event for the next day. There's tasks in Outlook. You can have your own to-do list. But something has to be set up to help you remind it. Because one customer, sure. Can Jessica handle one? Absolutely. But what happens on a day when Jessica gets a lead from an agent, she gets 2 DPLP calls that turn into qualifying conversations, she gets 3 trigger leads, and she gets, a warm referral from Facebook. All of a sudden, Jessica's on her heels now. She got so much came at her. She's setting up calls. How is she going to remember tomorrow what to do on each of these things? If she's not using a system like a CRM to remind her and say, hey, you did this, and now the next part of this is this. So I can't make you do this. I know that in my heart. I can't force you to do this, but I'm hoping that some of you are a little bit inspired to a degree, being like, hey, I do need to come up with this. And if the baby step for you is that this week you build the plan, great, you got the plan done. At least you know what you want to accomplish per lead, how to take it from one place to another. Once that's done, we can talk about execution. We can get into how you actually convert and what you do. But if you come up with the scripts and the if then this type of a thing for the leads, that's all you need to do this week. You'll be way ahead of other loan officers who never even think about this, or think about it but don't execute.
Can I ask a quick question? So are you sending the text through the actual CRM because it comes out with like a different number, or are you just marking it in there that you sent the text from your phone?
So this would be up to each of you. I will tell you that if it was me personally today, and I'll just use the trigger lead again as an example, Norm, because we were talking about that. I get a credit trigger. I am texting them personally from my phone with a video immediately. That's my first thing. Let's just say you're my customer, Norm. It would be something like this. Norm, Alec Hanson, man, we haven't spoken in forever. I was just thinking about you today, looking through my CRM, your name popped up, and I thought I'd reach out, just make sure you're getting everything you need with your home loan situation. I really appreciated working with you in the past. Video send. Nothing to do with the fact that I saw the trigger lead, right? No, I'm not going to care. That would be the first thing. And if you don't answer my text, Norm, I'm calling you likely by the end of the day or early the next day, depending on the time. Norm, Alec Hanson. Man, it's been a while, especially when you ignore me and I get voicemail. Look, I just want to make sure I connect with you before the weekends. I sent you the text yesterday. I hope you're doing great. I really appreciate the chance to work with you last year, whatever it was. And give me a call back and let me know how things are going. Take care. Okay, and if you don't answer that, I'm giving you an email. So what I would do is I would have my CRM open all the time, because by the way, when you get that lead, you can click the button on the email and go open up the CRM immediately. It opens up the lead immediately. And I would disposition the lead and I would set a new task for me for tomorrow. Many of you know this, but my screen looks like this. I think you've seen this. Okay, it's this giant freaking screen. Okay, over here is my email. Over here is my CRM. Open up at the same time, all the time. Because it's like when you come into the office, it's like putting your clothes on. Like you get the CRM open, you get the email open, and you got everything you need in front of you. If you've never really executed in a CRM before, I mean, not that you should go call Trevor Reese and bug him, but this guy is a case study in how to kick ass in CRM management. He'll never miss a lead, ever.
Who is it?
Trevor, he's on the call a few down. He's one of the best CRM managers I've ever seen in my life. So, but it's a skill we got to be semi-cognitive at, whether you use Outlook or CRM or some kind of to-do task system. I don't care. That's the same thing. Like, should I drive to open houses or just walk? I'm like, as long as you go in them, I don't care how you get there. One way is more efficient than the other, but like, you still have to go in. So I'll pause for a second. Does this make sense from a high level of what I'm asking you to do? I want to make sure I clarify this. Okay, so you have 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lead buckets to define and put your wraparound, your scripts, and everything just dialed in on it, on how you handle each one. There could be a 6th. So Meredy, I just saw you on the screen. You could have a new construction, right? If you work in new home builders, you don't have a 6 bucket. Someone who applies at a new construction deal, of course you do. Right, because the goal is to get them pre-qualified, but then, for example, how often do you follow up with them before the build is done? Right, so like you need to have another flow for new construction, 100%. So I don't know if any of you have other lead types that are unique. Did I miss any that you wouldn't fall in any of these buckets?
I have a question though.
Yeah.
I have, when I get a realtor lead
then I do the text, hey, can I set up an appointment? When are you available? Do the appointment, blah, blah. But I have one of my agents is like really aggressive, and it is in the first minute, it's a phone call, a text, and an email that they want sent. So I get that, but then if I don't hear from them, or if something happens, usually it's like 15 minutes, it's another round of that, 30 minutes, another round of that if I don't hear from them. What's your thought on that? Because I mean, I'm aggressive to a certain point, but I don't want to just be so over the top to where they hate me within the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, so you got two choices, Meredy. And that's why in the beginning of this, this is a good example of how each of these need to be personalized to your preference of strategy. Because if I'm Ryan and my strategy is I call that person every 2 hours, right? That might not be Chris's strategy. Now, because let's just be clear here. You know what direct lending does? Direct lending will call them multiple times in one day. And then direct lending will call them every single day for 30 days, every day, because they don't have a mechanism other than that dialing system to follow up with text and email and personalization. So each of you have to come up with your own personalized strategy that fits your energy. Now for Meredy and some of you, she has a partner that's demanding that she does something different than what she would naturally do. And I would say you have to make a choice. Suck it up and do what the partner says if you feel like the partner's gonna dump you, or show the partner this strategy and say, this is what I do for all my for all my follow-up. And if you don't think this is good enough, let me convince you why I think it is. Because here's the deal, and you'll know this, if you actually do this, okay, if you actually execute, you get to look back in the rearview mirror and see if you convert shit or not, right? You actually have data to be like, actually, this doesn't work. I don't convert very much. I should change this. I should do a call first instead of a text. The text is too passive. It lets them not respond. I'm going to try with a call first. And then I'm going to try with the text and the email and whatever else. And then I'm going to go every day, because maybe waiting 2 days, even though that's my preference, isn't converting. So now we can actually look at data, but most of us don't even have the data to look at. So Meredy, that's your choices. You suck it up and do what the agent wants, or you sit down and show the agent your actual process. Here's the exact text I send. Here's the follow-up call I make. Here's the voicemail I leave. If they don't answer, it's all scripted. It's not winged. It's all thoughtful. Here's what I do with the email. Here's the language of the email I send. And here's the follow-up things I do after that. And if that's not enough, I think we're not the best partners, or you just suck it up and do it. But that's a great question. Yeah.
Hey, Alec, how do you feel about dashboards versus just having like an Excel sheet or a list, right? Like where you can kind of visualize the flow. Because I think that is where the magic starts, at least for me, like that's how my brain works. Do you recommend one or the other, or like when you're trying to ramp it to a team, what teaching style or communication style, or, should you have a handbook? How do you think the best way to do this is with a team when you're at that growth phase?
Oh, a team. Okay. So I think there's two real choices. At a team level, and even individual, answer both, Trevor. I think you have to have, you have to do what works for you. Let's start there. But a CRM or a Google Drive, I think can do the same thing. And let me answer why I think that. So back in the glory days, many of you maybe done this. My entire pipeline and all my leads were managed in a red, green. Well, I actually had like 6 different colors Excel spreadsheet. And the colors had to do with how far they were along on the conversion process, right? So my pre-qualified were like a light green, not funded, because that was like the money green. And then if they weren't pre-qualified yet, if they're just pre-approved, it was a different color. If they didn't have a credit run, it was another color, and down to cold lead. And so I could very easily on Excel toggle what bucket to look at, so to speak, and what follow-up activities I need to do on those to move them to the next color. So Trevor, a much more elegant way is to leverage a CRM that has all those abilities to chart and organize things. Because so I joked about this with Tammy, but like, how many of you have a lot of pre-quals floating around right now, right? How hard is it to manage your pre-quals? Just be honest. How consistent are you in every week you're calling your pre-quals to make sure they're not cheating on you, not going somewhere else? It's hard in the midst of everything else you're doing. Some of you might have been dropping the ball on accident a little bit on some pre-quals and not following up enough because you're just busy and it's hard. So And that's the gold money standard. So now we're just talking leads and everyone's like, well, screw those. I'll deal with that later. But that's your farming place. So you can't forsake it. So to Trevor's comment, knowing how to use a CRM as an effective tool to put things in buckets, to have a flow, to have a process where you can open it up and go, hey, let me go after my once a month back burner customers today. Or it's the 15th and I'm scheduled on the 15th to send every single one of my back burner customers an email. So I'm going to draft my email, film a quick video, send it to all my back burner customers, right? And then it's this day and I need to move these leads forward now. And if you have a plan where you can do that, where everyone can see it, and that's why I mentioned Google Drive or CRM, where everyone can come in, your team can come in and see where all the deals are. That's what a professional looks like in this realm. And I don't want you to put massive pressure on yourself right now. I just want you to see it and baby step towards it. That's all we're doing today. I want you to see it, understand the importance of it, that the reality that loan officers, when they get busy and successful, a lot of the wheels fall off. And if you looked at the program of Road to 100 and you looked at the process of where we're taking everything, we started very simply of building our foundation, our customer contact strategy, our ICE strategy, getting our connections built. We started putting on the origination activities that we're going to do weekly and monthly, right? We're getting the machine going. And now before the wheels come off, we got to continue to refine the process so that you can have a systematic approach to managing the influx of business. This is what makes career loan officers over month-to-month loan officers. You know, if you're very successful and you make a lot of leads come in, but you're not great at follow-up and conversion, then the wheels come off and you're not going to get where you want to, we're capable of going. So, Trevor, did I answer your question kind of holistically on how I view it?
Yeah, I think we're really good at once there's a loan number, and I think we've got great tools for that at this company. I think where we're soft is I've got a name and a phone number, but I don't have enough. That's because I love CRM and I really struggle. I struggle pre-loan number, and that's the part I'm trying to shore up.
That's 100% my same thing right there, because it's not quite like in my LOS. And so, yeah, it's more like a notepad type of thing rather than a in the system thing.
So Nathan, we started making loan numbers for everyone. Even if it's just a name and a phone number, we're just making a loan number because it's the only way we found to track it at this point. And it's just getting everybody habitually to do it every time instead of forgetting.
Do you mean that you're just putting name, email, phone number in the LOS, saving it just so as a lead number?
Yep. That way we can't lose it.
That makes sense.
Which sounds almost like overkill, but I mean,
oh, it makes sense.
I'm going to try to flesh out Alec's thing and incorporate that because I want a number for everybody. Otherwise, we seem to lose track of it here. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
You know, I love the attention to this, Trevor, because we do lose track of it. Like that's the core of this whole thing is we lose track of it. and sadly, some of us lose track of the gold, the pre-qual business too. But most of us are pretty good at that because we know that's our key to getting paid. But if we get really good at leads, because here's another piece of the puzzle I want you to just holistically see. How many of your agents are massive lead aggregators these days? Or how many realtors in general are just massive lead aggregators? A lot. The answer is a lot. And if you're going to be prospecting agents, wouldn't you want to walk in armed with how you manage leads? Like to the teeth. I know, here's exactly what I do. Let me send you my leads capture strategy. Why don't we partner on the leads? I hate to say it, but some of these agents just want you to buy leads for them anyway, right? You're paying, they just like, give me $1,000 for Zillow.
Yeah. So devil's advocate, Alec, the biggest challenge I have with those agents is they often have their own lead system. And what they want us to do is work in theirs and we want to work in ours. And we've ended up in a couple that are great agents, but we're doing so much double entry between us and them that there's a certain point where it's not worth it.
Yep. That's a great comment. And those nuances will happen. You're right. You can't get in there. But I want you to understand the opportunity here in being intentional in this process, because there are tons of agents that are lead aggregating monsters. And a lot of loan officers today, as they're prospecting these agents, like I assume you are, have no lead management system because they're all organic. How much more will you stand out if you come in there and start talking about this?
We are their lead management system. So if we suck, yeah, it sucks for them. Yeah.
Yep, I love it. Okay, so I got 15 minutes left. I'm going to open up for general questions, but I want to make sure I land on the homework here. Okay, I want to make sure you guys understand. You've got 5, and if you're in new home construction, you've got 6 lead processes to build out. So you got your cold lead, your lead pool, name and a phone number. What do you do? I want it all scripted. What's the message you say? Build it all out. If it's a DPLP lead, what do you do? Again, the end goal of every single lead is fully pre-qualified with documents and attached their ass to a mellow agent and locked in with Grand Slam. That is the tightest lead you're going to ever get. That person is not going to go anywhere. They gave you all the docs and they're getting the Grand Slam deal. That lead is as tight as you can have that person. So you got your cold lead, DPLP lead, trigger leads, okay, for all your triggers. A warm referral or a Facebook lead or a friends and family lead. So a name and a number, but from someone who knows you and likes you. And then you've got your realtor leads, which should be a quick, easy lead to application cycle. It should not take a lot. But again, if a realtor says, I give you a lead, what's your process? Right? You need to be able to say, here it is on a piece of paper. I call them within 7 seconds of getting their number. If they don't answer, I send them a text with this exact message to them. If they don't answer the text, I call them again after 5 hours. Or, I mean, again, very systemized. And then I get them and I go. I'm going to put one more thing on your list. I'm sorry, I just realized this, but I want it on here. The back burner leads. So as you come down and put leads in the trash, I want you to have a process for your back burner leads. And it can be as simple as after I go through my process with them and they're a good customer, but they're not ready to buy for whatever reason, I put them in my monthly update email. Now, pro tip, I haven't even really built your monthly update email with you all yet. So I'll give you a little hint of what it's going to look like, but eventually this is where we're going, because your monthly update email is not a drip campaign. It's not one of the shitty economic news things from the marketing hub. The marketing update email that you're going to end up sending is going to be all of your content for that month that you've made and put out on the internet, your podcast, some clips, your campaign videos, and a personal note from you. That's your monthly update email that goes to your past customers and realtors. That's the shit they're going to open.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's the one to open. And by the way, it's going to pull them back to your podcast, pull them back to your social media sites, reconnect you there. Yeah. It's all good. And it's all just stuff you're doing to help the community. It's killer. And you just have to know how to pull all that together really easily. Like trust me, it's not complex. I actually have one going out weekly. Now Mikey does it for me, but it's the weekly download with Alec, and it's all the stuff I did that week and all the stuff coming up next week. That if they're interested in it. So upcoming podcasts, upcoming, thing. And that goes out to my effectively recruit community that I've been building. All right. 10 minutes left. Questions, thoughts?
Question, can you add us to that weekly or monthly email so we can see it? Do you want me to just email you or?
Yeah, go to the easiest thing for me, because the system is built this way. If you go to alechanson.com and I put it in the chat, and sign up for the weekly download, it automatically puts your email in there, and I don't have to manually go do it or give Mikey to manually go do it. It just saves us time.
Who do we reach out to if we need help with DPLP?
Like what, Melissa?
You know how mine, the little availability button is gone from my CRM, where you used to be able to turn it on and off. So I think I got removed somehow.
So check in with Regional, Brenda, to see if you're on the list still. If you're not, she'll help you with that.
Okay.
I'd start there.
Before you do that, Melissa, up in the top corner CRM, there's all the little squares. Click on it.
Top left.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Go to across the top where it used to be, where it says availability. There's that little, I think, the little pencil thing all the way on the right. Click on it and see if it's in your list. If you don't use it very often, it'll fall off your list. You have to add it back. It's probably not gone. You probably use it so infrequently that CRM bumped it off the list for you.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll look. Thank you.
I have a
for
question.
Everybody, that's the pencil right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Alec, I have a question on this same, on the CRM. So if we did loan milestone update videos, like loans approved, final approved, docs ordered, are we at a place where we can get those videos added in to our CRM? Well, is our CRM, I don't think it's using videos yet, is it?
You can text videos. You cannot email custom videos right now. You can customize your text milestones, not your email milestones.
Gotcha. So the text, will that send out a video or no?
Yep.
Okay. So we could replace the current with our own videos. You think?
Yeah, Alec.
Right.
If you click on CRM and you click on the little Loan Depot thing up in the top corner, and then your name will come up, you click on the Loan Depot icon or your face next to it again, and then you scroll down, you can replace all the URLs for the videos right there.
Nathan, we'll help on
Yeah.
it. We'll get a takeaway on that. In fact, Mikey and Ashley, if you can get a how-to video from Joey done real quick on how to do that, we'll get it out to you guys.
Because they may have it to where we can't make the replacement. It would have to be maybe someone, you know what I mean? Like we have to have everything approved and that sort of a thing. So I would imagine that's probably the requirement on that. But I do have videos that are made, so if I could get those approved and put in there.
Yeah, I'll show you what he's saying real quick, guys. So inside CRM, he clicked on his face. I'll click on mine and then clicked on my face again. And then right here, it says transactional SMS text opt out, right? You see it? So I'm opted out, which of course I'm not sending transactional emails, but here's all the transaction mode marks. And here are the videos and that you can actually upload into them.
So Alec, if you go to the top and hit edit, and then you scroll back down, all of those should be open. Yeah, see, you can change the URL. It's unlocked, and all of you guys should be able to change them and hit save.
Wait, let me check, because that's an Alec profile.
No, it works on mine too.
The mere mortal profile.
No, I've trained loan officers in this, man. It should work for you, but go for it. Go check me out.
I believe
I'm
you.
positive because I'm lame at CRM. And
yes,
I changed. And so from CRM Challenge, I actually have changed them to go like, hey, it's Jamie. You may never see my face, or maybe you want to see my face or not, but welcome.
You already did that?
Yeah, I've done that for, it's part of the, when we got the SMS, we were told we could change. So I didn't want like the rando Loan Depot purple and green shit going on. Just wanted to be like, hey, you may never see me. Now you are. Welcome to my world.
Nice.
All right, so team, final comment here.
Thanks, Trevor.
Homework is simple. I don't need you to come up with how you're going to execute on this yet, or what you're going to use to track yourself to CRM. I just need you to come up with the exact scripts and frequency of contact you're going to make on these leads in order to convert them into a fully pre-qualified underwritten lead attached to a Mello agent. Right, so that's the goal. So scan it all out. If you're having trouble or stuck on something, hit me up real fast. We can knock it out. Continue to do your 6 origination activities this week. And we will end with a couple highlights. This is my new favorite thing. So I'd like some of you guys to chime in on anything that's happened in the last week. That gives you a little more validation that the stuff you're doing is actually creating ripples. You're just not seeing it all. Did anybody have anything that happened in the last week?
Major.
You were in Florida.
Oh, no. This is why it's major. So I had, reached out to a realtor. Actually, prior to the start of this, she accepted my invitation. I met with her one-on-one. Then I was able to do a presentation for her group. Then I sort of like dropped the ball in following up. But then we started this. I picked it back up again. Now I'm like following. Now I've got all her stuff. I'm following everybody. I'm checking. I'm commenting. Whatever. She has sent me 2 referrals, crappy ones, but this is fine because I'm the new person in town. While we're at CE, she says, "Are you at the Fountain Blue?" And I go, "Yes." And she says, "So am I," because she's seen my social media posts.
Yep.
And I say, "I'm free till 7 p.m. Can I buy you a drink?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm on a girls' weekend." I go, "I have a cabana tomorrow. Please stop by and bring your friends." Thank you, Jesus. I almost got teary. I almost got Tammy teary.
Tammy teary. Anybody else have anything happen last week?
I had
Wait, hold on, Jessica. Hold on. Let me do something here. Okay, unmute yourself, please. See if that works.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had two. The first one was my husband was like, I can't wait to see Alec. And I'm like, Alec who? And he's like, Alec Hanson, your boss. I'm like, how do you know Alec? And he's like, his videos. I'm like, that's so weird. You don't even like know him. And he's like, but I can't wait to see him because I like his videos and I like that one. And he's like describing one of the ones he liked. So that's kind of crazy because he's not like huge on social media, but it's just the power of like feeling like you know somebody through videos. And then the second one, which I thought was like, I was totally taken back by, was I was on a weekly call with one of my real estate offices, and the broker said, hey, your video made me cry. And I was like, mine? Like I was up to present. And I'm like, my video? And she's like, yeah, your video made me cry because you put out there like how uncomfortable you are with making videos, and somebody like you that seems so natural on camera, which I'm not, and somebody who seems to have it all together is struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with. So it was really, really awesome. And here I am in my bedroom at 11 o'clock at night, just crying because you're just so like relating to me on such a personal level. And I was like, that's really an interesting comment that she made, because I did get a lot of comments on it, but then I looked and she didn't comment or she didn't like it. But it made such an impact on her that she presented it to all of her real estate agents, who then friend requested me because it made such a huge impact on her without her even liking it. So it just validated that even if people aren't liking it or commenting on it, it's still making such a huge impact on people. So
you know, Jessica, that's the perfect testimony of the impact that we don't know that we're having. And that is so that if you just believe, because now I can tell, Jessica, you're more of a believer because of that. And like Jamie, now you know, like, okay, this is actually touching people. I'm not realizing it, but it's making an impact. And now you start looking and going, well, if I just continue to build my community, if I continue to add people, then the scale that you're going to be able to affect to originate loans and have opportunity is going to be insane. And no one's going to catch you. That's the crazy part. Like, I know, like, they're not going to catch up to you. They'd have to start months and months ago, and they'd have to and people won't even start. So you just go, this opportunity, this brick by brick foundation is the gold rush. And no one's going to come after you. And even if they did, and they matched you cadence for cadence, video for video, they're not you. So they don't make the same connection. They make it with other people differently, which is good for them. Anybody else? Yeah. That was great, Jessica. Anyone? Last one? All right, well, we're 1 minute to go here, so we'll wrap it up. Thank you, guys. You know your homework. You know the work this week. Stay in the work. Okay, stay in the work. Everyone's going to quit right now. I know you know this, but let me just make sure you hear it again. This is the market and the environment when your competition quits. It's too hard. Rates are too high. My company, and they just quit. They just don't figure it out. They don't push in. They don't make the video. They don't make the contact. It's pointless to go to open houses because I never meet the realtor and there's 35 customers there. Great, go film the whole thing. Show everyone else that you were out there the whole time. This is when winners win and everyone else is going to quit and you're just going to step on everybody. So keep it up. You're making huge impact. And if you need help along the way, hit me up. But your goal right now is to move up a level. Okay, the podcast level exists. Get into the podcast level. Get your ass out there. Start networking, making more content. Okay, you got it. I love you guys. Good seeing a lot of you. And I know for those of you that didn't see me, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm not, I don't know what everyone thought I was really small. Maybe because I don't know, but I'm an average height American man. So just so you guys all know.
No, we all thought you were like 5'7", 5'8".
It's unbelievable.
It was a topic of conversation amongst some.
Multiple people were like, I thought you were short. I'm going, what? Why do I come across short? Thank you. It's great.
That's so weird. No, and I've never heard that before. That's funny, Jamie.
Yes. All right. Have a great day, everybody. See you later.
Yeah.